That is a new hobby that I picked up along the way. People are always like, dancing? Where did you get that? And so no, I didn't grow up dancing, just decided one day to put myself out there, which is a lot like sales professionals. And I use that sometimes to think about what we all need to do. So to Steve's point is, you gotta put yourself out there, you gotta have fun, you gotta think about how to be bold and brave, and that is what I did. I learned how to dance, and I did win the Mirabelle Trophy, and we raised over $100,000 for those individuals living with disabilities in need in the local community. So it's been a lot of fun, and I am continuing to keep up this newfound passion of mine. So I am Shari Aser. I am most recently, as Ayona said, Vice President of Sales for IBM. Recently left and in transition, which is exciting. But I'm really excited to talk to you today about unifying sales and marketing and how we think about that with AI, which has been very much a common theme thus far today. And I'm really excited to go third, actually, because both what Guy and Steve said, I really feel resonates with what you're going to hear a little bit from my perspective. So as I've experienced firsthand, all of us face challenges when we think about implementing AI, and some has been talked about in the room. But as you think about that and approach it, it's not about replacing humans. And in fact, yesterday, a friend of mine posted on LinkedIn, is the role of the BDR dead? And I used to run a team of BDRs. And I would tell you, no, 100% that role is not dead. But absolutely both what Steve and Guy were saying earlier, it's around implementing AI, thinking about that intersectionality, taking that data insight to make that more effective, more effective communication with the client, having that trusted relationship, building upon that so that it's an engaged visit, and so at the end of the day, that seller is able to take that information and ultimately close the deal and have a happy client at the end of the day and retain that client. Because all too often what we see is we're just having that sleazy in conversation with the client where it's just, I sold something and I move on. So you really want to think about that from that first engagement with the client. So with that, I kind of referred it back to Jeffrey Moore's, and I'm sure all of you have seen the idea of crossing the chasm, right? So the idea of taking technology adopters, being able to bridge, work through that chasm so that it's mainstream. And at the end of the day, AI today, we are very much in, we're kind of somewhere before the chasm, in my opinion. There's some folks that are trying to jump over it and they're falling in. There's some that are dipping their toe and then they get a little scared and they move back. And we're just not there yet. We don't know how to bridge it. We don't know how far do we go and implement it. Do we implement it across everything? Do we have robots doing the work that we have? And we're fearful, right? Because it's new and it's unused and there's not that much data out there yet. But really what it's about is if you can successfully bridge that gap, scale it, the value of AI resonates with a wider audience throughout the organization. And I recently read in a report that over 78% of go-to-market leaders believe that in 2025, they will be increasing their implementations of AI. So now is the opportunity for all of us to champion that and to get on that AI bandwagon as we bridge this chasm and move into the future. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can unlock your benefits and position your sales team for greatness by implementing AI throughout the sales process. Right? So it's not just, hey, I'm going to implement it in maybe the beginning, I'm going to have sales coaching, whatever it is. You really need to have AI throughout the sales process in order to have more effective outcomes. Right? At the end of the day, we all want to drive revenue and we all want to have happy clients. So prospecting. It's the critical first step. I would love to wake up tomorrow in a perfect world, my utopia, where I have enough sales pipeline to overachieve all of my sales revenue objectives and I don't have to worry. But until that day comes, which is, I probably won't be standing here alive at that point, we all need to learn how to prospect. And we need to do it better and more effectively. So at the end of the day, clients want to continue to buy from us and that we have insights. So I love where already the conversation is going is how do we do that smarter, better, and make it repeatable and have continuous success. So how do we implement that in the process? Using tools to be able to get good data insights, understand customer behavior, understanding what are they doing out on LinkedIn, what conferences have they been to, why are they doing it? Being able to use that and have that information at your SDR and your sales team's hands and in their ability to easily make those conversations and be able to engage with them. So as we work through that, making the contact. So today we might be spamming our potential contacts with emails, and how many of us get that every single day? We get, you know, buy from this, and oh, you went on this site, and now you get the follow-up, and you just hit delete, 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 delete in the morning in your inbox. But what if instead you had that provocative, exciting, hey Shari, did you know you could save X? But it doesn't sound sleazy. It's something that actually resonates with you. And you actually open it. You actually open that email and you read it. And what if there was a video embedded in that email that it was actually a person? Not just an email, not just both, but it was actually the person who actually wrote you and said, hi, I'm Shari. I saw you clicked on this. I'd like to know, you want to engage with me? You want to find out more? Let me tell you a little bit about that. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be exciting? It wouldn't just be this cold, impersonal email that we all get every single morning and we just hit delete in our inbox, or we filter it out into our junk mail. So being able to have those prospects, identify them, making sure that the message resonates with the client, that it's relevant to what they've been doing, and then it's obvious that you didn't just copy and paste the same email. I mean, who's gotten an email that it's obvious that it was copy and pasted from the 5 other people they've sent it to, or it has the wrong name? We've all done that, right? We've all been there, and we all go delete. They do not know who they are talking to. So again, being able to have that, being able to make that type, and further qualify it. When you do that, it's uncovering the customer's needs. So understanding their pain points. What's really going on in their business? Did they even indicate that sometime? Did they come to a conference? Did they come to a meeting? Did they engage on your website? Did they do something and click on and actually start a chat with one of your BDRs to say, yes, I'm having this challenge, I'm having problems? Does anybody know that that happened? How many times did you think that it's a new seller, a new client, and you actually find out that they've been on our site 5 other times, but nobody ever did that cross-reference, right? That is not understanding our customers' needs, but it's so easy with AI and tools today to be able to take those engaged visits and be able to consolidate that and have that into the hands of the seller, so you have a much more robust conversation, right? And at the end of the day, then you're able to build trust. And trust is absolutely incredible. Steve talked about this earlier, is that we don't want to be the sleazy salesperson. We want to be the person that lives down the street from them, that they trust, that they know, that they actually want to buy from, because that person actually knows who they are. So with thinking about that, then you are able to create a more tailored solution. So now I've listened to what Bill's told me. I've understood, because I've done all my research. I've used tools. I've been able to take information that maybe originally came from the Zoom info, and maybe I had some data in my my CRM tools. But now I want to look further. I want to take that information from LinkedIn Navigator. I want to take the information that maybe one of my sellers got at a conference or was able at a networking event and said, oh, I met this person at this client, and I want to be able to collaborate and do that. Now I understand what that client is trying to do, and I can build a customized solution. But it's also not a customized solution that takes days and hours and proof of concept. It's simple, it's easy, and it's cost effective for either company, and they're able, again, to bring that tailored approach. Maybe you send off a video to them. Maybe they're able to do a live demo with you and have, again, that more tailored approach, have that customization, which ultimately makes the client feel much more special, unique, and not something that they're just being sold to all the time, right? And then objection handling. This is my favorite part of selling. A former boss of mine used to say that really the sales process doesn't begin until you get that first no. And I truly believe that. That is my fun. I was sharing earlier that one of my fun things to do is negotiate cars, and that's another story for another time. But I love that process. That is when the fun begins. When the client is saying to you, no, I don't want this, or you're too expensive, or you know what, I really don't need the enterprise version, I can just take the light version. And you have to be able to explain and understand and be able to navigate that process. But having data, being able to coach your salespeople through that process is critical. How often we know this, that you're going to use the examples of what you did back 20 years ago when you started selling. And first of all, the products that we sold 20 years ago are very different than the products we sold today. And the customer we're selling to is not the same customer we sold to 20 years ago. So at the end of the day, the sales manager is saying, you should do it the way I did it, Mr. Rep or Miss Rep, is not relevant. You need to make sure that it's information that they're coaching, that they're doing all of that objection handling, that you're using tools like Dextegon and others to be able to do that sales coaching, be able to handle that objection handling, so they know how to respond to the client in real time, not say, I'll get back to you in 5 weeks, because by the time you get back to them, the sale's gone. And we all know that. Customers move on just as fast as they come in. So again, really keeping that momentum, ensuring that you're moving through that sales process. And then closing, the best part of the deal, where you're so excited. Now you know the client wants your business, you've reached maybe verbal agreement, but now you maybe have internally this very arduous, long process where you've got to get contract reviews, you've got to get pricing approvals, and maybe it takes days and weeks. Wouldn't it be great if you could just automate that workflow, be able to say, okay, you know what, you're going to put this deal in, I'm going to hit accept because it's within our pricing structure, and you know what that is, you know what the discounts you're able to offer, you have all that information, you know that this buyer is actually, you know, the subsidiary of a larger parent in a particular geography, you understand maybe the pricing structure that happens in Canada versus that happens in Japan or wherever you're selling to, and be able to do that effectively, and know that they have one overall organization where they manage, or have a partner or reseller that they work with to be able to manage their licensing and how they go to market, or someone that's going to come in and do some ongoing activity with them. All of that is critical, and if you have that all at your fingertips and in one tooling, you're able to work through that process so much faster, so much more effectively, and at the end of the day, drive that closing process much quicker. Because at the end of the day, the only people that make money on negotiating deals are the lawyers and the other sleazy people that you don't want to work with, right? You want to get this moving and move it faster. So, and then finally the handover. To me, this is one of the most important parts of our sales process. And all too often, we just think, great, we close the deal, we move on. But if we don't have a good customer success and a way to work together and collectively, we really miss that opportunity as we move through the business. And at the end of the day, then you're going to have lots of churn. And a leaky bucket of clients isn't a way to maintain and really to grow your process. So why did I walk us all through the sales process, the importance of it when we think about marketing? Working together, sales and marketing, throughout the sales process is absolutely critical. And one thing that I've seen in my tenure is that if everyone keeps your customer as your North Star, you have a much better experience through that. So how do we do that? Well, I've talked about how AI can be leveraged throughout this staircase, right? So shared insights, leveraging tools such as, customer information, understanding what they're doing on LinkedIn, what conferences, being able to correlate all that. Having more effective ways of converting those deals, right? Again, by tailoring those insights. Dashboards that are integrated, CRM sessions, shared KPIs. I know we talked about shared KPIs, but here's what I will say on shared KPIs to counter you. Where I'm going on that is the idea of having it between marketing and sales. So versus just, yes, shared KPIs. But at the end of the day, if the marketing team and the sales team are not actually running after the same target, and all too often they're not, then you actually don't accomplish what you want, which is a customer experience that customers want to come back, they want to continue to work with you, and you have that strong retention of clients. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want, right? We don't want to just sell the first client and a year later that client's gone and they've moved on to your competitor because they didn't have a good experience with you. And also, again, that tailored marketing. The other thing that I've seen in my experience is, and one thing we've implemented in the past, is really ensuring that sales and marketing come together when you think about things such as your sales kickoffs, your SCOs, whatever you call them internally, making sure that marketing's in the room, making sure that you together are leading that, making sure that there's a consistent workflow and feedback loop, that it's not just sales saying, marketing doesn't know what they're tailoring, and marketing says, oh, sales doesn't know how to sell, and product says, well, you don't know how great my product. You have to have all parties in the room. And I think that that's really critical when you think about AI implementations, because everybody then sees the value and everybody wins because you're getting the same data. And that's where I think something like an integrated dashboard where all parties can see that information and be able to funnel that back, you can make better decisions. And you can make them faster and in real time, but they're also based on your client's feedback. It's not just based on what the sales manager says should be happening, it's actually based on what the client is saying to you. And at the end of the day, that's the most important. So really in conclusion, and I put my AI coaching here throughout, right? It's really how you can continue to leverage that, continue to drive for the client, continue to share that. And at the end of the day, I didn't mean to do that. At the end of the day, what we're all trying to have is a better customer experience, better user experience, with AI driving that, AI really being the tool, not just the tool, but really our partner in this entire sales process, so that at the end of the day, we all come away with a happy client, happy salespeople, and we all make more money. So with that, thank you all for listening.